Hi everyone, welcome back. We finally got an update on an actual date for the Legacy of Phrecia event. In this video, we're going to go over the details of that, and then we're going to get into the impact that this new event, not League, in Path of Exile 1, the domino effect it's going to have not only on the League for Path of Exile 1, but also what I believe the impact it's going to have on Path of Exile 2. So we're going to review the Legacy of Phrecia event, and then we're going to get into my roadmap or suggested roadmap that I believe is going to fall through because of the new information that we now have with the Legacy of Phrecia event. So without further ado, let's get into the details. Okay, so this is the announcement of the Legacy of Phrecia event. Now, this is an event. It's not a league. So it's only for a specific time frame. And we learned that it's going to start February 20th. And it is going to end on March 23rd, which is a Sunday. And that's going to play into something later on when I go through the timeline and the impact it's going to have on Path of Exile 2. So this is basically based on the Settlers of Kalgor. It's on PC and console. You can play all the modes. Just remember that when you're creating a new character, that you select the mode that you want to play. And for those of you that are not aware, this event is stuff that was on the shelf in prior leagues being considered in Path of Exile 1, and it never got to the end, like to the game. So this is what they've come up with. So we are going to be getting 19 Ascendancy classes, and they're all outlined in here. And this has already been discussed, so you should be aware of it. But I am going to put a link to this post in the description of this video if you want to check out the Ascendancies, if you haven't seen all of them. But it's a pretty wild list. There's a lot here for everybody. So basically the other big change, which again is only for this event, it's not a permanent change in Path of Exile. I want to underline that, bold it, flashy lights. The Atlas passive tree in this event, and this event only, has been replaced with a new system, the idol system. As you progress through the endgame, you'll find idols, which can be placed into a new tab on the map UI to modify your maps. And I did a video on this already, but again, I want to highlight, this is only for this event. The Atlas passive tree has not been replaced, guys. It's only for this. This idol system is only for this event only. And there are rewards by reaching level 20, 40, 16, at 80 in the Legacy of Phrecia event. You will be able to earn pieces of the Autumn Night Armor set. Just like the regular Challenge League rewards, the Autumn Night Armor set is earned exclusively in this event and will not be available for purchase, FYI. Now, Twitch drops also will be available for the first week of the event. So if you're watching your favorite Twitch streamer, you will earn Twitch drops. Channel name is SamyCaps, shameless plug. So that is for between February 12th and February 27th. So make sure you are watching your favorite streamer on Twitch, and you will receive the Haven Cloak that perfectly accompanies the Autumn Night Summer set. And there it is right here. It's the back attachment. And just make sure, guys, you go to your Twitch settings when you're logged in and make sure your account is connected. Okay. And after you've accumulated enough watch time to earn your cloak, you must redeem it from your Twitch inventory before you be available in your microtransactions list in Path of Exile. This is not the first time they've done Twitch drops, not only in Path of Exile, but a lot of games do this. So you guys should all be familiar with it. So basically, to join this event, that begins on February 20th. Just create a new character in either standard or hardcore Legacy of Phrecia event on the character selection screen. If you want to play SSF or Ruthless, do not forget to select it on screen. And then they have some Q&A. Will the Legacy event run on all platforms? Yes. Can I play my existing character? No. As in with all these new resets, leagues, events, you have to make a new character. Can I change my ascendancy class during the event? Yes. Will I receive multiple autumn night armor sets by leveling several characters in the event? No. You only get one set, guys. Will I receive a piece? When will I receive a piece of the armor set? A piece of the autumn night armor set will be awarded automatically upon reaching level 20, 40, 60, and 80. You will receive boots, gloves, body armor, and helmet, respectively. So when you hit level 20, you'll get the boots. When you hit level 40, you'll get the gloves, and so on and so on. Will you consider extending the event? 1 month feels like not enough time to try out everything. We will consider extending the event based on its popularity, but we will also be adding alternate ascendancy classes and idols endgame systems individually as private league options sometime after the event, so that you can experiment with them as long as you want. So there is a possibility that they're willing to extend this 1 month event, and they are going to be adding endgame systems and private league options sometime after the event. So very interesting, and this is kind of going to play into my thought process when we get into the roadmap for Path of Exile, or the potential roadmap, sorry, for Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. And we're going to get to that in a second. Will the ongoing Necro Settlers event end when the Legacy of Phrecia begins? And yes, we will hope you have fun in the Legacy of Phrecia. Can't wait to see all the builds you make. So that's the nuts and bolts. It is starting on February 20th. Guys, mark your calendars. And again, right now, it's ending on March 23rd, but they are considering extending it if it's popular. And that leads me to potentially the impact or the roadmap for Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. All right, so way back when early access happened for Path of Exile 2, I did this Path of Exile 1 and 2 potential league time frame, and basically I was spitballing potentially what the roadmap would be in 2025. Now, at the time, all I knew was the fact that December 6th, Path of Exile 2 was going to be in early access, and Jonathan and team at Grinding Gear Games told us that sometime late in January, they would provide an update for the new Path of Exile 1 league. Now, that was back then, and this is what I created based on that information. So I want to go through my guesswork here and then update it with what we know today, because a lot of time has transpired, literally almost over 3 months here. So a lot has changed. Number one, the announcement in late January for the new league in Path of Exile 1, well, that never came, and we only didn't know. All we were updated on was the fact that, oops, we screwed up. We had, because of the popularity of Path of Exile 2, we had to take away the team that was working on POE 1, the Skeleton Crew, may I add, to devote it all their time on Path of Exile 2, and therefore we were told there's no new league coming right now. And then you fast forward to today, with all that noise around that comment and that statement, we now know that in the interim, they're doing this 1 month event, not league, in Path of Exile 1, just to kind of tie us over until we actually get 3.26, the new league in Path of Exile 1. So we now know, right here, these are the recent updates. The Legacy of Phrecia, we know it starts on February 20th and ends on March 23rd. So as you can see here, I assumed, with Jonathan telling us way back in December, or even earlier, if I'm not mistaken, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, that they would advise us late January for the new league in POE 1. So I assumed, okay, they're going to tell us in January. So 3.26 is going to be in February. And then 3 months, right? 3 month cycles. Now, I thought because they were going to tell us late in January that the POE 1 league would not start until late February. That's why you have the gap going into May to account for that, okay? And then it would go, POE 1 that is, would go into a regular 3-month league cycle, which is typically what is done with Path of Exile. And then I had early access for Path of Exile 2, and then Path of Exile 2 coming out of early access, I always said late 2025. So October, November, and December. Now, my opinion has changed on that. I'm still sticking to a 2025 release for Path of Exile 2 coming out of early access, but now I believe it's definitely going to be sometime in December. Now, a lot of people challenged me on that, saying there's no way in hell it's going to be 2026. Some people even say 2027. It's going to be years, but I'm sticking to that. So let's see how. So this is what I speculated back in 2020, end of 2024. Okay, based on what we know. So now we have some updates. We know that the Legacy of Phrecia is now going in February 20th. Okay, that's a Thursday, and it's ending on March 23rd, which is a Sunday. And we do not know. We know we're getting a major patch, a major update in Path of Exile 2. I'm assuming it's going to be a server reset. I'm also speculating, my speculation, that point 2 is going to be the introduction of 2 more new classes, the Huntress and the Druid, which we already know are going to be the next 2 classes that are going to be introduced in early access. So the question is, where is patch point 2? When is it going to come out? So if you take the methodology that Grinding Gear Games wants to stagger Path of Exile 1 with Path of Exile 2. Now, the only caveat is this is an event. Phrecia is an event, not a league. But it ends on March 23rd, okay? So let's say this is now over here, okay? So it's going to end on March 23rd, and 3.26 still not out. March 23rd. I'm suggesting to you, so March 23rd is a Sunday. I'm suggesting that March, what does the day fall on? The 23rd. So the Thursday is the 27th. March 27th is when patch point 2 is going to go live. We're going to get an update prior to that. When, how, I don't know. But I'm just talking about when it's going to go live. March 27th. It's a Thursday. Grinding Gear Games likes Thursdays, right? So I'm sticking with that methodology. Now, the only thing that I still haven't figured out, and maybe you guys can help me out, is March 23rd, Legacy of Phrecia ends. March 27th, my speculative date for patch point 2 is March 27th. Now, what happens with Path of Exile 1? Do they go into 3.26 right away? Therefore, overlapping, like really on top of each other, if for lack of a better way? Or I think Legacy of Phrecia gets extended a little bit, okay? Maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe even a month, which they're up for. But this all hinges on the reaction. Grinding Gear Games is going to look at the feedback from the player base on how they're liking this new Legacy of Phrecia. I don't think anyone's going to have a problem with the new ascendancies, 19 of them. What I'm really curious about is this idol system that's replacing the Atlas tree. I'm really curious to see how players are going to take that. And that is going to dictate whether or not this event gets extended or not. Now, let's glasses half full, right? Let's assume everybody likes it and Legacy of Phrecia gets extended. Well, then I think that if March 27th point 2 happens, then we could see potentially 3.26 happening in the second week of April. And then they go to a 3-month cycle, and all this gets pushed down. So 3.26 now goes to June, and 3.27 goes to September, and 3.28 goes to October to December, right? That kind of. So Path of Exile 1 goes in its normal cadence, okay? And then I would suggest to you that POE 2 is going to come out of early access in December, right? And I would also say that Path of Exile 2 goes, so if they launch point 2 in March, then I think another patch, April, May, happens in June. Let's just assume it's 3, okay? And then, again, they go to a normal 3 months. So July, August, September, they can do another patch. Now, that is 3 big updates. 3 big updates in Path of Exile 2. Now, October, November, and December gives them the time to cross their T's and dot their I's and get the game completely tuned down and tuned in. Sorry, that's a better way of saying it. Tuned in and optimizing it, just ironing out all the kinks. Who knows? They may have another patch in, let's say, right before the release, or maybe the release is the patch. But my point is, my original assessment got skewed over by 3 to 4 weeks, but it is still attainable that Path of Exile 2 can still be released in 2025. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. They still have enough time, major time, to update this game. Remember, at the time of recording of this video, point 2 isn't out. We're in February, and 50% of the game still needs to be added. The content, classes, another more ascendancies for each class. We're missing half the classes. We're missing half the acts. You get my point. But right now, the major focus is point 2. And obviously, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. But the end game is where I would imagine Grinding Gear Games is putting a lot of attention on fixing, because it's a lot. That's the crux of their problem right now. There's a lot of things that they need to address, but the glaring one, the one that's really causing leakage in players leaving and getting bored of the game, is the end game. So I say to you that their 2025 timeline, which Jonathan stated prior to the release of early access, that his preference was they would get out of early access and release the full game in 2025. Now, that was his preference. He didn't say that was a guarantee, but he said he would prefer not to go into 2026. So only time will tell if I'm like off my rocker, and you guys let me know if you think there's no way in hell they're going to maintain a 2025 release. Let me know. But I just wanted to give you an update on what I said back in 2024 and what it potentially could look like. Either way, guys, like I said, we have the event coming on February 20th. It's a 1-month event, which I believe is going to get extended. And then Point 2, I'm speculating, is going to happen on March 27th, and we are going to start getting back to a regular cadence with Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. All right, that's my madness. That's my suggestion. That's my speculation. And just for the record, I am a firm believer that this is just, well, it's a major hiccup. And I don't want to belabor the point. Obviously, Grinding Gear Games made a huge mistake, and they fell on the sword, and they're getting all the negativity. To be honest with you, it's deserved. It was a big mistake, but people make mistakes. I still have faith in Grinding Gear Games. I believe Path of Exile 1 is going to be healthy and prosperous in the future, and I believe the same for Path of Exile 2. I am a proponent of both games thriving and succeeding, and I don't believe they're going to kill Path of Exile 1 because of the Path of Exile 2 popularity. I'm in the team of both games are going to be here for a very, very long time and be very successful. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are you playing in the Legacy of Phrecia event? If you are, let me know. What ascendancy are you choosing? What are you playing? And as always, thank you so much for the support of my content. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, it doesn't cost you anything, and it would mean the world to me. I would really appreciate the support of my content. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. And as always, we'll hope to see you next time. Take care. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and solely mine. Healthy debate is always encouraged. Hate is never welcomed. So get over it.